Alright friends, welcome to San Rosa Creations. My name is Estefania and I'm a neurodivergent maker. Today we're going to be talking about how to make the modified and the widened and shortened Trailblazer. So just a few things to note from the get-go is check out the zipper difference. So in the second one, I made the zipper so that it started at the central panel. The pattern calls for it to be put on the edge about 2 inches to the right onto the side panel. You could do it either way. I personally like this way a little bit better. That's why I did it that way the second time. The other difference is that in the video I'm making today, I didn't do the slip pocket in the back. You can, the way she does it in the pattern can be how it's done as well. But this one does have that slip pocket. It's literally just 2 pieces of fabric folded together, right sides together, and then top stitched, and then just attached to the panel. You can do also the pockets how she calls for it in the video, but I do it differently in this video. In this one I did it like the video, and in this one I did a different way so that I could have bigger pockets. So just kind of keep that in mind. I keep referencing the pattern because it's important for you to have the pattern in order to do this. We do want to respect the intellectual property of the pattern maker, so you need to go and purchase the pattern if you don't already. So the link will be down in the comments or in the description for bagstockdesigns.com, and you'll want to get the Trailblazer. Here's why. This is probably the hardest part of the video. You might have to watch this multiple times. I've re-recorded it several times because I just can't seem to get it right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm not giving you pattern pieces. I'm giving you adjustments that I made to the pattern piece. This way, you know, we still respect the intellectual property of the pattern maker. So I'm going to go through each square and tell you how many pieces you need and the sizes, or like the adjustments. So we're going to start with the first square. So again, this is page 29 of your pattern, so go and print it out so you can take notes. So the exterior top panel, you'll need 2 exterior pieces, and on this one I added 4 inches to the width and took out 1/4 of an inch to the height. For the exterior middle panel, you can cross that out, you don't need it. For the exterior bottom panel, you need 2 exterior and 2 lining if you want to make the laptop sleeve. So for that one, I added 4 inches to the width and I subtracted 1 1/4 inch from the height. For the side panel, you'll need 2 exterior and 2 lining, and I added 1 inch to width and I subtracted 2.5 inches from the height. For the lining panel, you'll need 2 lining pieces. This is your main lining. You'll have to add 4 inches to the width and subtract 2 1/4 inch from the height. Sorry, 2.5 inches. You're subtracting 2.5 inches from the height. For the side pocket, I will give you that measurement because I do it differently. You'll need 2 lining and 2 exterior squares that measure 9 1/4, or rectangles I guess, that measure 9 1/4 inch wide by 8 inches in height. For the bottom, you'll need 1 exterior and 1 lining and 1 foam interfacing, it says. I did not use foam. I used a different stabilizer, and I'll show you in a minute what that looks like. But I did use Decovil Heavy for my bottom stabilizer. So again, for the bottom, you'll need 1 exterior and 1 lining, and I added 4 inches to the width there and 1 inch to the height. For the stabilizer, again, this is your Decovil Heavy or whatever stabilizer you're using. I used Decovil Heavy. I added 4 inches to the width and then added 1 inch to the height. for the front slip pocket that's here, okay, I am going to give you that measurement because I do it differently than the pattern calls for. For the front slip pocket, you'll need one exterior lining. No, sorry. One exterior piece and 3 linings in order to do it how I do it. You'll need a rectangle that is 16 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall. If you want to do a slip pocket in the back, then you would need an additional exterior lining and an additional lining. For the back slip pocket panel, you can cross that out. You don't need it. For the back zipper pocket panel lining, you can cross that out. You don't need it. For the front flap, you can cross that out. You don't need it. For the connectors, it's up to you. The pattern calls for 5. I only did the connectors for the backpack. Okay, I did not do the connectors on the side. If you want to do connectors on the side for a long crossbody strap, you can do that per the pattern. So again, I only did 2 connectors like the pattern calls for, and then I did 1 connector that is 3 inches by 4.5 inches, and that's for the D-ring. Okay, so that's for the 1.5 inch D-ring. The connector stabilizer I do like the pattern says. The front flap zipper pocket lining, cross that out, you don't need it. For the interior slip pocket panel, I will give you measurements for that and the zipper pocket because I do it differently than the pattern calls for it. So you'll need 2 10-inch squares, 10 inches wide by 10 inches high for the slip pocket, and the zipper pocket. Keep in mind that my 10-inch zipper pocket is small. It's a short pocket. If you want a pocket that is an interior zipper pocket that's wider, do it like the pattern calls for it, okay? Use those measurements and then go with that. For the short straps, I did go ahead and make my straps 20 inches high because I just wanted some longer straps. And then for the what's it called, the webbing, I went with a 75-inch long piece of webbing. You could do 65 to 75 depending on how long you want your straps to be. I just like my straps to be pretty roomy. But yeah, so that's it. I'll go over all the pieces and hardware in just a moment. But like I said, that is the hardest part of the video. Literally just the modifications. Everything else is easy. Let's get to it. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about interfacing. So the pattern calls for foam. It's up to you how you want to do that. What I would recommend is once you have your top and bottom panel together, to like measure that, and then I'll show you what that looks like in a second once we start sewing. Sew on the foam that way. But I am using this self-adhesive Therxfuse from Fabric Therapy, and I have found that most of the time this is all I need for interfacing. So you don't need any heat. I should have shown you what it looked like before, but yeah, so this is the interfacing I use. This is wonderful interfacing that reduces the steps that I have to use when I'm making. In addition to, most of the time it can go through your machines. I'm pretty sure it goes through domestic machines too. So I don't have to worry about keeping the stabilizer out of the seam. I know some people also use like Decovil Light or Decovil Heavy, but I'm just using the self-adhesive Therxfuse from Fabric Therapy. All right, so now that I've cut everything, I just kind of wanted to go over what you should have. So you should have 2 lining pieces that are the size of the exterior bottom panel, with 4 inches added to the width and 1.25 inches taken out from the height. So it should match, oops, sticky. It should match your exterior bottom panels. So you should have 2 of the lining. This is going to be your laptop sleeve. It's a different color just because I ran out. So I just wanted to go over all the pieces you should have. So you should have 2 pieces for your laptop sleeve. You should have your base, right? And your for your lining. So I'm going with the lining first. So 1 base that should be 1 inch wider and 4 inches wider and 1 inch in height, right? So wider, height. There's my base. You should have 2 10-inch squares for your zipper pocket and your slip pocket. And then you should have 2 lining pieces that are the lining panel, which are 4 inches wider and 2.5 inches smaller than the lining panel that the pattern calls for. And then additionally, should have your side panels. Which are 1 inch wider and 2.5 inches shorter than the pattern calls for. For your side panels, you should have 1 side panel that is 1 inch wider and 2.5 inches shorter than the pattern calls for. And then you should have 2 squares that are 9.25 inch wide and 8 inches tall, 2 interior and 2 exterior. So those are my side panels. For the exterior main body, you should have that 1 piece that measures 4 inches wider and 1.25 inch smaller than the pattern calls for. The pattern's a little bit taller, right? You'll also have your 2 straps and your top panel piece, which is 4 inches wider and 1/4 inch smaller. It's gonna go like this. And then so you should have 2 of those and then 2 of those, and then your 2 straps. I'm doing just a front slip pocket with a zipper on it. So to do that, I need the front pocket, which is that 16 inch wide by 8.5, and then you'll need 3 lining, right? So 1 exterior, 3 lining, and then you have your base. One thing I'm going to go ahead and do with the base is I am going to measure 3/8 of an inch. That's what the pattern calls for. Ooh, just dropped my rotary blade. So I'm measuring 3/8 inch squares, because again, this really is, the pieces are modified, but at heart, this is just a Trailblazer. So we will be following the pattern steps for it. That's why it's so important to have it, because it really kind of fills in some of the gaps of, and you know, of course, we want to make sure we're contributing to the original pattern maker. So gonna be trying my best here. So the pattern calls for 5 connectors. I'm going to be using 2 connectors as the pattern calls for it. So I've got 2 connectors as the pattern calls for it. And then I do have 1 connector piece that is 3 inches by 4.5 inches. Now, the reason I do this is because I'm going to be using an inch and a half webbing for my backpack straps. So I'm going to be using an inch and a half D-ring. And so that's why I'm giving you that measurement. So again, for the connectors, I have 2 connectors as the pattern calls for it, and then 1 connector that is 3 inches wide by 4.5 inches in height. I also added the stabilizer as the pattern calls for it. In addition, you will need 1 long zipper that measures 25 inches. I'll be using rose gold for this one. You'll need 1 zipper that measures 10 inches. And then 1 zipper that measures 14 inches. For this 14-inch zipper, you'll also want to add exterior tabs. These are just squares that measure 1 1/4 by 1 inch, because you will be adding those zipper tabs at the end. Hardware, you'll need 2 1-inch D-rings, 2 swivel clasps that are 1.5 inches, because for the size of this backpack, I think just 1.5 inches webbing works better for the straps because of the weight you'll be carrying. And then I also need 1.5 inches D-ring. This is where my strap is going to go through at the top. So that is it. I did forget to mention you will need some rivets and some zippers for this as well. I think that's all we got. Let's get started sewing. All right, so I'm going to be sewing on my industrial machine. I have seen the Trailblazer made on domestic machines, so it is possible. So one thing I really like about the modified pattern is that it is such a fast sew. So we're going to start with our D-rings. We'll do our back panel first, and then you'll see how quickly this kind of comes together. So the first one I'm doing, I'm taking my D-ring. I'm going to sew, and then all of my connectors. Alright, so I have my D-ring connectors all set up. I'm just going to set those aside. Next, we're going to do the strap. The straps. Alright, now the straps are done, we get to the good part. So you'll need your top panel piece. I'm going to probably mark your centers. I forgot to do that earlier. Where's my... So first you're going to place your top D-ring you're going to center that and you're going to place it on there. I like to have like about a 1/4 of an inch overhang, just because I feel like that gives it a little bit more sturdiness. So again, you're going to place that there and you are going to just sew it on there in a square. Some people like to do an X, but what I do is I add double rivets here. And I'll show you in a minute what that looks like once I've put the whole panel. Well, let me sew this on and then the straps, and then we'll look at how I do the rivets. So I've sewn on the middle piece. Now I'm going to sew on the strap. So now that I've made my straps, and I guess maybe white was not the color I should have picked. But now that I've made my straps, I'm going to, let's see if I can darken it a bit. Okay. Now that I've made my straps, I am going to place it 3 inches from the center on either side. Okay, 3 inches from the center, and I am going to sew up 1.5 inches for each strap. Okay. All right. So now that I have added my strap, so this is going to be my back panel. What I'm going to do now is that I am going to go ahead and put in the rivets. Yeah, just because I want you to kind of see what that looks like. And so what I like to do is that I like to take a piece of stabilizer and put it behind each place where I am going to put a rivet. So I'm going to put one behind the strap. I'm going to put one behind the central. And then I'm going to put one on the other strap end. And I just like to do this to like reinforce those areas. All right, so our next step is to sew the bottom panel to the top panel. You just want to center that, and you're going to be sewing that at 3/8 of an inch, like the pattern says. So one problem with the rivets that I forgot about was that it would get in the way of me sewing at 3/8. So I just gotta get it right. So yeah, maybe wait on the rivets. Don't be like me. But yeah, I just like to. All right, so now you're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch with the seam facing down, like towards the bottom. So the last step will be to add your D-rings an inch away from the bottom. And just add those in there. Kind of keep in mind that you want to do it at an angle. if you wanted to add a slip pocket, now would be the time to do it. Like what I do is just sew 2 pieces together of the slip pocket at 3/8 and then top stitch, and then I would put it here. I did that with my other bag, but I don't use that pocket, so I just didn't want to do it for this one. Something fell down. Oh, there we go. Two squares. So this is the part where I was talking about earlier where I would add the foam. So I've already added all the interfacing I want, but at this point, if you're going to use foam like the pattern calls for, I would take your panel piece, cut out the foam the same size as your panel piece, and then sew it around at 1/8 of an inch. But for me, this is the structure I want. So just gonna go with that. So that is my back panel, looking gorgeous with this rose gold. And now I'm just gonna do the other one. I'm gonna do the front panel. Again, I am putting the strap on at 3 inches from the center. Okay, so here's my center. Here is 3 inches. My bottom panel to my top panel at 3/8 of an inch. Quick and easy and painless. So again, I'm going to top stitch with the seam facing down. Okay, I'm gonna go add my rivets and then I'll be back to do the front zipper pocket. All right, so I have my front panel mostly put together. I can just set that aside for a second. The next part will be our zipper. Let me make sure I get the right one. Our front zipper pocket. So for that, you'll need that 14-inch zipper. You'll need your 2 zipper tabs. You will need 1 exterior slip pocket. Forgot the measurement. I think it's like 16 by 8.5. And then 3 lining panels that are the same measurement, that 16 by 8.5. And then you'll need your zipper pull. Oops. Okay. All right. So you're going to add your zipper tab. They should measure 1 inch by 1.5 inches, and you're just gonna sew that on at a 1/4 inch. And then you're gonna top stitch at 1/8 inch. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, this pattern's pretty easy. We're like most of the way, well, we're like halfway. Now I ran out of thread. But that's okay, because I have some pre-wound bobbins, thanks to Sunny Sewing. Oh, I'm not out of thread, it just got tangled. But I'm almost out. So, something to keep in mind while I'm top stitching stuff. Okie dokie. Just gonna find my center here on my zipper, and I clip that. I'm gonna find the center of my exterior pocket. Gonna clip that. I'm going to stitch this on. I'm just gonna baste it. We want to make sure that goes to the right. You'll have a little bit of extra, but I always like to add a little extra when I add zipper ends, just in case. I'd rather it be too long than too short, and then I can just trim off whatever. So you're gonna do that at 1/8 inch with the zipper and the exterior right sides together. Okay, zipper and exterior should be right sides together. Just 1/8 of an inch. You're just basting it on at the edge. Now you're going to take one of your linings, you're going to find the center, match it up, and then, so the exterior should be right side up, the zipper should be right side down, and then this lining piece is going to go on right side down. So the wrong side should be facing up, and you are going to sew that at 1/4 of an inch. It's 1/8 of an inch. Okay, there we go. Next, you are going to turn the pieces so they are wrong sides together. You just want to kind of finger press that. You can press it if you have like an actual, like if you have materials you can press, but I have vinyl and waterproof canvas. So I'm just going to finger press that down, and then I'm going to top stitch that at 1/8 of an inch. This is kind of a similar pocket style that I use on my Dia Cutie crossbody bag, which is a pattern that I made, and you can buy. I'll put a link down in the comments. The zipper came out a little crooked, but not the zipper itself, but this this one tab came out a little crooked, but that's okay because it's gonna go like this, so you won't be able to tell. Next, you're going to do the same thing. You'll set, so find your center on the opposite side, and then you're going to put the pieces right side together. So the zipper is right side up, and the other piece is going to be right side down. So they should be right sides together. And you're going to, again, baste it at 1/8 of an inch into place. All right, so what I should have is my lining piece should be basted into place. Now I'm going to take my other lining piece. Let me make sure I got this right, because I may have gotten this wrong. I may have. No, that's right. Okay, so that's right. And then Yeah, okay. So this is the inside of my pocket. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my last lining piece right sides together with my other interior lining piece. So I should kind of have like this layer fest going on of that lining piece we just sewed on being right sides together with the exterior, and then wrong sides against the other lining. And then these two should be right sides together. And then I'm going to sew this on at 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to flip my 2 lining pieces together. So I should have an exterior and a lining piece that are wrong side together, and then 2 lining pieces that are wrong side together. And then I'm going to come in and top stitch that at 1/8 of an inch, just like I did the other side. I'm loving this navy and rose gold. So go ahead now, and you're going to want to trim the excess, and then we'll add it to our base. All right, so you should have your front exterior panel. You know it's the front because it doesn't have that D-ring in the back. That's your front panel. And then the pocket we just made. Okay, you're going to take the pocket and fold it over. I like to clip my sides. Just like this, just so that I can keep that in line as best as possible. And then my zipper stays kind of like in that upright position. Like this. Now I'm going to line it up and clip it into place. I like to make sure, something went wrong here because this is not long enough. Oh. What did I do wrong? This should measure 16 inches. Did the other one measure too wide? Ah, problem. I cut this at 15 inches. Lord, why did I cut it at 15 inches? Silly, silly me. That means I cut all of these wrong. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to redo that later. But essentially, you would line this up. And then, like I said, I like to match the zipper to this top seam right here. And then you would baste it on, make sure all the like bottoms are lined up and the sides are lined up. And then you're going to baste it on. Sorry, I'm trying to like clip it into place a little bit. Again, I have to go. I gave you guys the right measurements. I just cut it wrong because this should be 16 inches wide, this pocket. And for some reason, I made it 15. And I'm out of navy. No, I'm out of navy. I think I know what I'll do. But anyways, yeah, I do know what I'll do. Okay, but anyway, so you're going to base this on at 1/8 of an inch, and then you can set it aside, and then we'll work on the side pockets, okay? Okay, I'm back. So I'm definitely out of navy, so I didn't have enough to like redo this pocket. So I just added these little wings on the side of this pocket. We're just gonna call it a day. That's just where we are in life. So now it's wide enough, and I can match it up. Makes me laugh. It's not a bad solution. It's not my favorite solution. But you know, we're out here struggling. So we're just gonna go with it. Okay. So I'm going to line this up and then sew it into place at 1/8 of an inch. I'll just clip it all the way around. And you want to make sure you're catching all your seams, because otherwise it'll be uneven. But again, I try to kind of match it. Like, I don't care if it's at the bottom uneven as much as like I want that top lining to be correct. Okay. I'm going to sew that at 1/8 of an inch. Let me actually take out my bobbin because I know it's almost out. And it'll run out and then I'll be mad. Well, we'll see. I think I need to move this over. No, it's alright. Okay. Alright, there it is. Bam. The sides don't look too bad. It could be worse. But I think a lot of it will be caught up in the seam allowance too. So make sure I got it in there. I did. Alright, perfect. So there's my sleeve. There's my zipper. Now on to the side pockets. So far we're making good progress. I feel like we might finish the exterior and then move on to the interior tomorrow. I'm getting tired. Oh, it's already 10 o'clock. Tomorrow's a work day. Alright, so really quickly we'll do our side pockets. So I'm just going to put right sides together. It should be wider than it is taller. So the top is here. You're going to stitch that at 3/8 of an inch, and then you're going to top stitch. so many changes, it's kind of hard to keep track and make sure I'm not like saying something I'm not supposed to. So now we get to add our pocket to our side. So you'll notice it's a lot wider than it looks, right? So there's a reason for that, and that's so that it gets a bigger pocket. So what you'll want to do is I like to just kind of line up one side, sew down the right side, or you know, whatever side you line up. I'm just going to sew straight down at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I've sewn one side, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this other side to match up, and then I'm going to clip it in place. And then you see it kind of has like this natural curve to it, and you may have seen this on a different pattern, and I just thought it was a good idea. So what I do is I didn't measure it when I did it. I just kind of was like, what is the natural folding place? And that's kind of what I went with. So I didn't necessarily measure it. I just kind of was like, cool. So again, what I did is I brought that pocket in, and you see it's kind of got this shape coming in here. So what I do is I tuck in two sides, kind of like a pleat, and then just make sure your other end is meeting here. And then I just sew the bottom. I just thought this was such a neat pocket idea. You see this in the folding zip by Sophisticated Designs, and it really gives you like a larger pocket. So I am a fan of this way to do it. I did this after the first one because the first one that I made, I didn't like how big the pocket was. I wanted a bigger pocket. So I was like, this is, so now you see, I got a little roomy pocket in there. Gonna put a big drink. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's repeat. So again, I'm gonna line up one side, and I'm gonna sew it at 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to line up the other side. And then I'm going to pleat it. I guess if you really want measurements, it's about 1.5 inches. So I would say like 1.5 inches, and then, no, sorry, 2 inches. So you do about 2 inches. And then fold it over, and then 2 inches from the other side, and fold it over. It's not an exact science, really. Again, you're just pleating it on the sides. If that makes sense. If it does not make sense, then I apologize. bam, we have two sides. Oops. Bam, we have two sides. And then very deep pockets. I just love this little pleat thing. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I guess, okay. I guess we're ready to construct the main piece. All right, so we are ready to construct our main bag. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a ruler and you want to draw a line at 3. I may have to like flatten it, but I should have done this before I sewed on the thing. You want a line at 3/8 of an inch. So just draw that. And then my line's a little crooked, but I don't think my line is crooked. I think the thing is crooked, but and then again here you want 3/8 of an inch. You should have marked your base at 3/8 of an inch. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I made the first one, and for this second one I widened it because I think the first one I made, the width was like the same as the pattern, and I just wanted it a little bit wider. So but the measurements still hold up. So we're gonna take our pockets, our pockets, sew those bad boys into place at 3/8 of an inch. We're gonna do all those. Wow, these pre-wound bobbins, like I am really impressed. I always make sure to line up my bottom in case there's a little bit of overhang. I want the bottom line up because I can always cut off excess at the top because it looks like my measurement might be off here. So sewing that at 3/8. Make sure not to catch your pocket in there. And then I'm going to sew all the way down, but then stop at that 3/8 inch line. Look at that. Oh, this is turning out so good in the white. Oh, except I got some pen on it. The one flaw with the white. Yeah, it looks like I was off a little bit on the height. What is that? What is this measure? I thought it was 12. Oh no, it's exactly 12. Okay. Gotta change that. Still half an inch too much. See this one there? Something fell down. Okay, so I have attached my side pockets to the front panel, and now I'm just going to do the same to the back. Again, when I'm sewing it, I am not sewing below that 3/8 mark. And again, I'm sewing this at 3/8 of an inch. Seam allowance. All right, so now for the final piece, which is the bottom piece, and then we'll just have the interior. Well, I guess we could do the zipper too while we're here. I'm trying something different with the zipper this time. So, going to sew. I marked the 3/8 inches, so I'm just going to sew 3/8 of an inch. This is why we kind of left that gap at the bottom. I'm going to sew the sides first, and then, or the long sides first, and then the short sides. This is tricky for sure. It gets tricky. Let me make sure that measures up right. It does. Perfect. Okay. 3/8 of an inch right there. Actually clip this in place. I always forget. I try to like hold it, and then I'm like, if I just clipped it, this would be easier for me. There we go. Now I don't have to hold it. So I like to lower my needle into that corner so I know I got it. And then 3/8 of an inch. Oops. I forgot to clip. That's why I hate clipping it, because then I forget to put the clips away. But they're meant to help me. To that line. One side done. Now the other side, I'm gonna line it up. This one came out better than last time as far as the 3/8 for sure. So I guess I should have mentioned, but I have a sew fraction seam guide from, I think it's Soulful Therapy, and that thing is a lifesaver. So I love it. Okay, here we go. Kind of like to lay it flat a bit. Again, putting my needle down right at that corner, so I know I have it. And then here we go. 3/8. This is definitely turning out better than last time. I think I measured a little bit better, except for my side pocket. All right. So one thing I did want to mention was that I did have this Decovil Heavy at the bottom that I forgot. I did heat press that on. It's coming off a little bit. This is why I don't have this problem with the self-adhesive therapy. I think it just when you move stuff around. But yeah, so I had this Decovil as extra reinforcement. So now I'm going to sew the two sides at 3/8 of an inch, and then we'll be done with the exterior, except for the zipper. We'll do the zipper too though. So I like to, I just like to squish it flat. it probably affects the way it looks later on, but I figure it'll be okay. I just want it to sew in there. I don't know if it's, maybe last time I had the Decovil Heavy in the 3/8 seam, because this is a lot easier than last time. Again, make sure. I'm just going to check and make sure that there's no big gaps in there. Man, I don't know, guys. This turned out really, really good, and I'm impressed. Because last time, these gaps were a little bit, I don't know what I did right this time, because I am loving this, even with its flawed front pocket. Like, I really like the navy one I made with gold. So I may have to like remake that one so that it's this length, this width, and this setup. Okay, so we'll just do the zipper then, and then we'll call it a day. Y'all won't know because, yeah, it's a recording. But I'll do the other part 2, tomorrow. Look at this. I'm just like pushing in. Oh, you're supposed to like trim the seam allowance down. I forgot to do that. But I already turned this bad boy around, so dim the brakes. We just live life that way. But if you want to, go back and trim the seam allowance. This looks so good. This is impressive. Even with my janky side pockets, it's looking real good. Look at that. Bam. That's looking gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm very happy with these bigger pockets. I'm going to be happy with this zipper setup, I think. Okay, so last bit for the exterior is the zipper. You should have this zipper that is like 25, 26 inches. You are going to, you can sew this, or as I do, you could use a lighter. I think I saw Lynn's Handmade do this the first time. And you just like burn it a wee bit. Stop breathing, me. And then it melts it, and then you just, man, normally I have an easier time with this. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, so I just fold it over, burn it, and then that's how I get my 90-degree angle. Burning it too much. I don't know why I'm struggling. Look, I'm struggling today. I normally never struggle with this because y'all are watching. So again, set my 90-degree angle, burn it, melt. See, look, I did burn myself. But I got it that time. So maybe worth it. All right, let's try this side again. The right side. No, didn't get it. Oh, no, I did get it. Okay, perfect. All right. So for the zipper, what I'd like to do is actually separate it. The reason I do this is because the first time I made a Trailblazer, or the only time I made a Trailblazer, my zipper got all knotted up and I panicked and I was like, how am I going to take this apart? And then I was like, oh, I could just take off the zipper cap and then untwist the zipper. But anyways, I just think it's easier to add the zipper last. So one thing we're going to do different here is that we are going to only add the zipper to the main panel. So not in the pattern, she adds it like 2 inches to the sides. We're not going to do that. So you're going to take your zipper. Is this the right side? No. You're going to put your zipper right side to the bag. So bag should be right side to the zipper, and you're just going to clip that in place. I'm going to drop the other one. And then, so again, the end of your zipper should meet the seam, and then your other end at the seam is going to come up. So if you look at the not up, down, sorry. If you look at the pattern, she pulls it away at the 2-inch mark. We're going to pull it down here at right before the seam. Okay. I want to see how that looks as opposed to, adding, and you can tell my zipper is extra long. I just like to make sure my zipper is going to be long enough, and then I can always trim it later. So I'm just gonna baste that into place, because you will actually sew it into place when you put the lining in. So again, I am basting this in at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Let me make sure you can see. Oop. So again, right here at the seam is where I've put my folded edge. And then right here at the other seam is where I start to pull away like this, and it's going to stitch straight, and then it'll be hanging off. So that's one side. Again, the zipper should be right side. And then here at the end, you can see where I was talking about where I tapered it off. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. And make sure that it matches, right? So like, here's my folded edge on the front side. So I just want to make sure I have my folded edge in the same position. And it's a little bit trickier because you're going to almost go backwards, but it's all right. So again, I'm going to baste this in at 1/8 of an inch, and then a little bit before the seam, I'm going to taper down. Now we have our zipper in place, and if you wanted to, you can add your zipper real quick just to kind of see what it's gonna look like. When it's closed, because it's gonna look dope. Kind of sad that I ran out of that, like it's flawed because it's looking so good. Because I ran out of that navy, so I had to use pink for the base, for the interior, and I also had to use pink for the computer sleeve pocket. It's mostly lined up. I think it's off a little bit, but okay. Not final. But anyways, oh yes, I love that. I love how that turned out. Yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted a little bit more puckering on the sides. If you want, you could do it more like the pattern says, where you go, you know, that 2-inch mark, and zip it up there. That's what I did with the navy one. But I like this. That's what I wanted it to give a little bit of shape on the sides. Give a little pucker. Yes. I love this so much. All right, so that is the exterior, and then we will work on the interior next. Okay, friends, we're going to go ahead and we are going to finish the lining. You'll need 1 lining piece. We'll do the side with the zipper pocket and the side with the zipper pocket and the slip pocket first. So you're going to take one of your 10-inch squares. You're going to fold it in half. And you are just going to sew along the sides at 3/8 of an inch. Leave a gap here though, because you're going to turn it out. Okay. So again, you're sewing around 3 edges and then leaving a gap in the middle here so you can turn it inside out. Oh, and I guess I said 3/8, but it's a quarter. I apologize. A 1/4 inch. And you'll want to trim the corners I just trim off a little bit of it just so that you can turn it around. I'm going to be the first to say that my slip pockets never come out looking crisp. I don't know what it is. I just can't get those corners straight. So we'll see. So if it's not looking too crisp, don't judge me. And I just do a 10 by 10 inch square because my brain just works better whenever I use like same measurements. I think you could add a wider slip pocket if you wanted to with the same process, and then have like 3 slip pockets. The way I do it, it comes out with 2. So now you're just going to, oh, it's not bad, top stitch here at the top. I should use my corner turner or whatever, this thing, but I forgot to. All right, so take your main lining piece, find your center. I always like to use waterproof canvas because it, you know, I can fold it and find my center, but I still clip it anyways. So with this version, because I'm putting the laptop sleeve in, I'm going to be putting in the slip pocket and the zipper pocket into the same side. Okay, so I do the slip pocket first. I'm gonna put the slip pocket about halfway down. So if you want to do half mark on the side as well. But yeah, so I do that about halfway down. No, that's not right. I'm lying to you because I do that here. So do it 5 inches down. So 5 inches down from the top and centered. You are going to just sew this into place. I forgot to pucker out this corner. I don't know, guys. Just not always super worried about super intensely crisp corners. Something fell down earlier. I'm not sure what. Oh well. And then I'm gonna sew down the middle to make my little slip pocket. Again, if you wanted to, you could do like a little bit wider. I think the 10 inch by 10 inch square works perfectly. Okay, so now that I've attached my slip pocket, I'm going to use that kind of as a reference to put on my zipper section. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my zipper pocket and I'm going to fold it in half so that it's wrong sides together. This just kind of gives me an idea of, you can do your zipper pocket however you want. This is, I just learned this way recently when I made Oh, this tote bag. I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyways, but I really like the method for it. So you're going to want to line up. You see on my center mark, that's at 5 inches. You're going to really want to overlap it 1 more inch down. So the center mark should be 1 inch down. Right here. So here's my center mark on the zipper pocket, and then I went down 1 inch. Ignore this silver box because I put that in wrong. It's the right width and measurement, but I put it in the wrong place. So half an inch past my center mark, which I guess I could mark it so you could actually see it, huh? So like you see, that's my center mark, and then it's 1 inch down, and then half an inch down from that. Well, I guess I'm glad I drew that because it's easier to see. You're going to draw a 9 inch by 3/8 box. And make sure it's centered because I think I not make it centered. See, it's off slightly to the left. All right. So again, sorry, I have ADHD, so if I repeat things, I folded my zipper piece in half so I could have my center line. I placed my center line about 1 inch below the top of the side panel, and then half an inch below that I drew my zipper box. So you can clip it in place if you want. I like to live dangerously, I guess. So I am going to just go ahead and keep it. Well, I guess I could pin it. Let me just pin it so my life is easier and it doesn't shift. So now I'm going to sew that box around. Just because it's easier. So I'm going to go and cut this really quickly and then I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. I've cut that up. So I'm going to flip it through. Again, I learned this recently from a bag, which I can't remember at the moment. So you could do it just like the pattern says. You can follow the directions in the pattern and that'll still give you the correct pocket size and everything. I do a shorter pocket on this one just because I don't feel the need for a deeper pocket, but you can make a big pocket if you'd like. Yeah. See, because it's going to go like this, and it's going to be awesome. Okay. So I flipped it through. Let me finger press it a bit before I... See, look. I'm doing it. Whenever I finger press it, I always do it wrong. Can't seem to get those seams in. There we go. All right, so it should look like this. It's a little bit sticking up at the top. And now I'm going to place my zipper tape in there. Okay. All right. Place that in. Let me do the bottom. All right, so this is what it should look like. So you can see my zipper there. And then on the back, this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to sew this into place and the front. And then I'm going to fold this edge down. And then I'm going to sew the sides, but not the bottom, because I'm going to use this bottom to sew my side later to close it out. Okay, so again, I'm going to sew the front. I'm going to sew the sides here, but I'm going to leave this bottom open. Oh, I got to keep it out of the way first. Just kidding. So I'll gotta keep it open. Keep it open first while you're sewing. Oh no, my thing, sorry. My zipper came out of the place. Okay, let's try this again. Oh my gosh, I could not get this right now. There we go. All right. I always like to start at the bottom and then like I backstitch there just because it's just how I do it. So I start here on the bottom. Alright, so I've sewn the top on there, looking beautiful. And now I'm going to fold this over. My zipper's a little bit too long, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to sew the sides. I don't know why I do it this way. I think it's because like the other way that's done where like you get a little bit of flap at the top really bothers me. So I just don't do it that way. I don't know. The thread came out. I was too busy talking smack about pockets. Alright, so there's your pocket. Again, you could do it just like the pattern calls for it, and then that would still work out for you. Oh, I missed a part here. But yeah, so you could do that if you wanted a longer pocket. I don't know why. I just like the shorter pocket. I just don't need a bigger one. But if you wanted to, like, you could do, this one was 10 inches by 10 inches. You could probably do 10 inches by 15 inches. Give yourself another 5 inches in the pocket. It'd probably give you 2.5 inches in the pocket. It's up to you. But that's just how I do it. What's next? Oh, right. So next, you can set that inside, apart. This is my base. I ran out of navy, and I just decided that pink was what we were gonna go with. So we'll do that, and then I don't need my sides. Okay, so the next part is your foam. I did forget to mention that you need some kind of, if you're gonna do the laptop sleeve. If you're not gonna do the laptop sleeve, then you could just skip ahead. To the part where you put everything together. But this really quickly, I'm just going to take my laptop sleeve lining piece. I'm going to set one piece right side up. I'm going to put the sorry, no, I said that wrong. I'm going to put my foam down first, and then I'm going to put a piece of the sleeve right side up. I always do my foam a little bit bigger because then I can always trim it back later. Now I'm going to take my second piece and I'm going to put it right side up. And I just like to do this so that I make sure I actually sew the foam in place. So again, I have foam, my lining right side up, and then my lining right side down, making kind of like a sandwich. And then I'm going to sew this at the top at 3/8 of an inch. Again, my foam piece is a little bit bigger because I just like to do it that way. So now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip it over. Alternatively, you could just sew the two pieces right sides together and then slip in your foam if you want to. That way you have less bulk at the top. But I'm just going to top stitch this part at 1/8 of an inch. right, so there is my laptop sleeve. Really quickly, I'm going to go and trim off the excess, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so last piece before we assemble everything is to just attach the laptop sleeve to the lining piece. So all you're going to do is take your lining piece, your second lining piece, you're going to match up your laptop sleeve sides and bottom, and then you're going to just baste it at 1/8 of an inch. So I did make my laptop sleeve big enough so that it would fit my my MacBook Pro. So if you find that you need a slightly smaller sleeve, you can do that. You could actually make the bag less wide too if you really wanted to. But yeah, so laptop sleeve. All right, so our next step is just to put everything together. So really quickly, I am going to do some marking. So on the lining side, it is 3/8 of an inch. No, sorry, 3/4 of an inch. It's 3/4 on the inside. So I'm going to take my two side pieces, and then I am going to, at the very bottom, draw a line that is 3/4 of an inch on the wrong side. Okay. At the top, I'm also going to, and they talk about this in the pattern, but you want to draw a 3/8 inch line, and then kind of mark a 3/4 spot from the edge. And then you want to connect those, and the reason they do this in the pattern is so that your lining will fit in really snug, and it does. I know 3/4 of an inch seems like a lot, but like it comes out beautifully. So just so you can see, right? I started at 3/8 up here, and then I'm at 3/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna do the same to this side, and then the other piece too. So again, at the top, I'm marking 3/8, and then down here at the bottom, I'm marking 3/4, and then I am connecting them. This will be my guide when I'm sewing, and then I'll do the same on the last piece. Oh, and then yeah. So on the last piece, again, I'm gonna, at the bottom, I'm doing 3/4 of an inch so that everything will fit. So there it is. And then just on my bottom panel, I'm just going to draw 4 lines all the way across. That is 3/4 of an inch. And again, my base pink because I ran out of navy. And since I used rose gold, I figure, what the heck? I'm going to get silver all over me. But I love this pen. It's pretty wipeable too. It's the Mormino pen. I actually lost my pen piece, so this is one of the refills. Hopefully someday I'll find my pen. All right, cool. So now let's assemble. So first I'm going to take one of my sides and one of my lining pieces, and then I'm going to sew it on. Again, I'm going to follow this line so that everything fits nice and snug. Snug as a bug in the rug. I do want to test out really quickly one thing. Okay, now I'm going to take the other side panel and do the same thing. I'm going to sew it on. Gosh, I love this. We're so close to being done. So close. All right. So then you're going to do the other side. Alrighty. All the sides are together. Okay. And what you're going to do next is you're going to trim. Oh, not yet. You're not trimming yet. Never mind. Ignore me. So you're going to start attaching the base to the rest of it. You're going to attach it on most of the sides. So you can attach it on one long side, attach it on the short side, and then attach it just a little bit in, like about 1 inch on the other long side, because that's how we're going to turn the bag. We're going to turn the bag from the bottom and then use the zipper pocket to close up that seam, okay? So again, we're just sewing this bad boy on, and this one will be at 3/4 of an inch. And then, so now I've sewn on 3 of the 4 sides, and I'm just going to sew in about 1 inch on the, on each corner of this last piece. And then we'll be ready to put our lining together with our exterior. Okay, so now you can go and trim all your sides except for this side. Don't trim the side you haven't sewn because you want to leave that longer. But you want to trim all the other seam allowances so that the bag will sit nicely. And then we'll put it together. All right, so it is time for the exciting part of putting it together. So you should have your bag right side out, remember your exterior right side out. Remember that I have not added the zipper yet, so you just want your zipper tails tucked in out of the way, wherever you would like. You're gonna put the bags right side together, so your exterior should be wrong side out. And you're going to slip it in. Make sure you do, that you put it so that the, your laptop sleeve is in the back of the bag, right? So, my laptop sleeve should be against the back panel. And I'm just going to tuck it in. Now, remember we sewed a little bit, so it might be a bit tight in there since we But you just gotta squeeze it in. Squeeze it in. Oh man, this is gonna look so good. I'm excited to see this. So what I do now is that I match the seams of the 4 corners, and then I clip all the way around. So I'm gonna match my seams first. Oh, whoops, forgot to match my other seams. Make sure your zipper is facing down. Otherwise, that will not be right. All right, so now clip in all the way around. One. All right. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is that I am going to sew all the way around at 3/8 of an inch, okay? So again, sewing all the way around at 3/8 of an inch. I do have a cylinder arm, but I just wanted to do it on this machine so you could see it. I will probably end up doing my top stitching on my cylinder arm. So if you don't have one, that's fine. Just kind of know that's where I'm headed. So I lied. I do this part at 1/4 of an inch. All right, now that my bag is all clipped in place, I am going to sew it at 1/4 of an inch at the top. I do that because I can never seem to get, like, I think the pattern calls for 3/8, but I can never seem to get 3/8 when it comes to zippers. So I just do it at 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to sew all the way around that. And then we'll move on to our final step. All right, so I've sewed all the way around. Let me make sure I caught everything. And I did. I think I need to go over this bit. All right, so now you see why we left this bottom open. We are going to go ahead and pull the bag through now. Gently but firmly. And there she goes. She's beauty and she's grace. My pink accent that I'm going to pretend was on purpose. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. All right, so the very last step is that I am going to fold over my edges and I'm going to clip them, and then I am going to top stitch all the way around the bag. I do have a cylinder arm, so I could do that, but I'm too lazy to change out the thread because the thread is navy. Trying to tell myself that navy for the last top stitching is not going to work when I have not used navy in other places, but that's okay. We'll just do it on this machine. Just a clip in, clip in, clip in place, clip in place. All right, I always like to start in the back because I figure, you know, or no, sorry, on a side. I pick a side to start off with, just because, I don't know, it's what I go with. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch all the way around at 1/8 of an inch. beauty is top stitch. Tuck this in a little bit. Oh yeah, she's looking gorgeous. Okay, so last step is I am going to pull the opened end. So here's my zipper pocket. I'm going to open it. I'm going to pull the open end through just so that I can stitch it really quickly. I think last time I left the side by the, so I think in the future I would leave the side that's by the zipper open. This time I did the computer sleeve side, and that's a little bit harder to pull through. So I'm just gonna sew that really quickly. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim that bottom. Alright, so now I'm going to trim that edge. Let me not stab myself with scissors. Trim the excess off of that edge. I'm going to tuck that back in. And then I'm going to pull the pocket out, and I'm just going to fold the edge over. Looks like I missed a corner, but I'm going to fold the edge over by 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm just going to sew it shut and call it a day. I have to sew aside apparently because I did not catch it. Okay, so again, folding it over 1/4 of an inch, and then sewing it shut. Tuck that in. It's the tiniest pocket, but I love it. So there's the inside. I've got my 2 flip pockets, my tiny zipper pocket, and my computer sleeve. So let me put the zipper in here and we'll see what it looks like closed. Oh yeah, I love the way that came out. Love it, love it, love it. I wish I could get my zippers to be less wavy. I think I pull them when I attach them, and that makes them wavy. So I'm just gonna add a. I'm probably gonna trim this actually by couple of inches, and then I'm just going to add a zipper foot. Not a zipper foot, yeah, a zipper cap. See if I can find them. They're here somewhere. Somewhere. I just saw it. Zipper caps. Here we go. I don't think I have any rose gold. Oh, I still have to do the, oh, here's my rose gold. I still have to do the straps. So let me get that in a second. So I have this screwdriver that is from a glasses case that is the perfect size for this. Oh man, I'm kind of almost afraid to carry the white, really. I know that bad boy is gonna stain, but I guess it's faux leather, so like at least you can clean it. So there's that. Okay. Let me go get the strap pieces. All right, for your strap, you can, so like you could do 65 to 75 inches of webbing depending on how long you want your strap to be. I like my straps to be roomy, so I did 75 inches. So it's really just how you make any other strap, but I wanted to show y'all how I attach it to the back to make that cool loop. So I'm just gonna take my zipper or my slider, gonna fold that over. Let me burn this edge really quickly. Since it's webbing, what I do is I fold it over twice. So like here it is, I'm gonna fold it down and then fold it over again. And then I'm going to stitch 2 lines through it. So there's 1 line. There's my second line. And I just do kind of matching thread. I think on the last one I did navy, just because my strap was navy. All right, so now I'm going to add my make sure this is right. So I'm going to add my hook. So it should be like this, right? I'm going to take my strap, tuck it in, and loop it through. And pull it till it's about-ish. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Just burn off a little bit. I am going to put, make sure I do this the right way, like this. Like that. Yep. I'm going to put my hook, my swivel hook through. I'm going to fold it over again. So here's my edge, fold it over once, and then I'm going to sew through it 2 times. You could also do rivets if you wanted to. I've seen some cool like webbing covers too, like at, I think, Georgia Girl Stitches or something like that. I just do it like this. Alright, so that's your strap. Give me a second. I'm going to go look at the other backpack to remember how I did the cool loop. Okay, guys, so really quickly, I wanted to go over how to do this now on the backpack. So you want to clip on the right side. You see how I went over. So you're going to want to, the D-ring should be down. You're going to loop through and then go to the right. So here I am looping through. I'm going to the right as far as I want. I'm going to bring my strap around to the front. And then again, I'm going to go through the top, the D-ring again. Make sure my my strap is straight. I think I turned it. Okay. And so now I should have kind of a little loop, and I'm going to put my other end of my strap through the loop and then just pull. And that's how you get that cool little knot. You might need to watch that a couple of times, but that's how you do it.